Oh, here we are on the first Monday of July, or in Arlie's case, the first Tuesday, I think, of July. And glad to be here with you. So let's set our space and then we'll put ourselves into the circle. So take a deep breath and let that breath be filled with the delight of what earth possibilities hold for you. Freedom not because of battles and war, but freedom because we now know. We now know that we souls in female body spirits are not disempowered when we feel energy that is discounting or damaging or in any way off, but we can quickly call out that energy to be removed back to its home. Freedom. And in that new space of sovereignty, what delightful stories, creations, songs can be brought forth in this freedom. So we ask that those teams that we have been working with incorporate that delight for the new, the dancing in the good, into all that we are about today. That anything that needs to be identified within energy fields that would stop that could be quickly PTO Deep Six, as we hold the delight of earth and what earth experience is for us. We gather in the sacred ground of sovereignty, totally cocooned within the guardian circle vortex, with our teams of guidance and with our commitment to hear our sensitive voices and messages brought to us. We are working together here in the circle and with those in the unseen. We give thanks to all that Mother Earth brings that allows us this journey, all that the Father, Son brings to us from the great unlimited home. And may we enjoy and weave well today. Our circle is set, open, and so it is. Okay, so now we'll place ourselves in the circle. Name where you're at, any quality or situation you want to put into the circle itself. We're not going to be talking and addressing the problems, but they certainly can be named, and the circle intelligence itself will take it from there. So Sharon Raji Maynard here, Woodby Island, cool, lovely. Just repotted some plants, which took me about 3 weeks to get the energy to do that. I'm not like Sue out there burning brush. And I want to bring into the circle a deeper commitment than ever before to our experiences of good, and in that frequency, all that is not of our life gone. And I'm going to pass it to Arlie.
Hi, I'm Arlie. I'm in Eastbourne, New Zealand, just across the harbor from Wellington. I'm signing on with Sharon for deeper commitment. That's something that I've wanted to bring into my life, and I'll bring into the circle also. And I would like to pass to Deborah.
Thank you, Arlie. Yeah, I think I'm muted. Yeah. I'm in Sanford, North Carolina, which is about 45 minutes southeast of Raleigh in Chapel Hill area. And I echo the deeper commitment. I'm feeling a real critical time coming. And I'd also like to put in affordability, affordable housing.
Who would you like to pass to?
Oh, I'm sorry. Spirit, since you've been out for a while.
Thank you so much, Deborah. I am Spirit. I am in Somerset, New Jersey. I actually got the strength to face my fear and do exercise today. So I made it through that and had to deep six my way through that. But what I would like to bring into the circle is peace, love, compassion, and forgiveness. And I tag to Kelly.
Good morning, good afternoon. Kelly here in Portland, Oregon. And there's a lot out there. So I think I'm going to go with a deeper understanding, a deeper level of comprehension. And so, okay.
Thank you, Kelly. I'm Sue. I'm from Issaquah, Washington, just east of Seattle. And I'm enjoying the cooler weather and I'm enjoying being outside. Oh, I love being outside. And what I'm finding is the more I trust Source, the happier I am. And that's what I'm bringing to the circle. And that brings you back, I believe that brings us back to you, Sharon.
It does, Sue. It does. So in the 3 circles that comprise the work we do on Monday, have 3 purposes. One is to identify something that's formed or forming that is in any way off good. So anything that is off has some influence of outsider domination. So, and to identify that, not to scream about it, but to go back in time, we'll call time, to wherever you personally might be able to identify the concept that is allowing it and literally pull the concept so that there is a new stream of energy coming forward. In the pulling of the concept, that allows what had formed to begin to dissipate, and you can even call for that dissipation more quickly. Second circle, to hold, you could either a word, it could be a statement, it could be a glyph of what you might be called to hold as a pattern in today that will bring a future that would be a reflection of good, that would be a benefit of good. So eliminating the seed, broadcasting for new. And then the third circle that's part of this is to identify either or maybe both, something new that's growing, that you see in the world that's growing, that's a benefit that you want to guardian circle, keep that guardian circle around to allow that good to continue to grow without being squashed. Or it might be something that's already formed, and in this time and place, you call for the guardian circle to begin to dissolve away by removing the outsider energies that have allowed it to form. So when we do this circle, we understand that every one of you is connected to source, your own source, to your own teams, and those teams are connected to that bigger plan, eliminating outsiders in order for us to really create beautifully, fearlessly new forms. We have you have teams connected to that. You don't use my team, I don't have to tell you what to do. So when we open that journey, it's about you saying to your team, I'm available. Where can I be most effective in relationship to the purpose of these circles? Where can I be most effective? I am there. Move me and work with me and talk to me, and you get a work done. You get something done. When that's complete, you come back. I suggest you put in a journal, you write it down, and then when we open the circle, we share what we each received, giving maybe 3 or 4 seconds between sharing so you can listen deeply, hear it, imagine it, anchor it, move to the next. So that what we have done is independent, it is multiple types, and yet all toward the same goal. And then we share it, hold it together, and then broadcast it. So that's basically the protocol of the circle. So with that in mind, let's go around one other time. And if there's anything you feel that you either are drawn to, put in the circle a person, you can put a person into the circle. You can mentally put it in. We don't have to verbalize it. You can say, yes, I've put things in the circle. And then when everyone's had a chance to do that, then we'll do our independent journaling. So let's go around one more time just with the tag process and say, is there anything you want to put into the circle? Just in concise language, put it in the circle. The circle holds it, and then we go to the next. So Sue, can we start with you?
Thank you, Sharon. I'm going to put 2 people in the circle. Spirit.
I'm going to put a couple of people in the circle as well. Thank you. Deborah?
Unmute. Can I be a little bit long-winded instead of just really concise? Saturday, I took my sister-in-law, who's 70, she'll be 72 next month, out to look for apartments. And her apartment rent is going up, and she knows she's needing to move because she's on a very fixed income. And she was nervous about finding something and hadn't been doing anything. So I said, I'll come up. And I knew where there's some older apartment complexes in the area that were nice, but not the modern, new, expensive, all the amenities that she doesn't want. But I couldn't remember their names. I thought we'd drive around, get the names, check them out. Well, all of them had been bought up by these national companies, rental companies. And when you check the prices, they all started at $1,200 a month for a 1-bedroom. It didn't matter the age, it didn't matter the condition. And I just kept thinking about all the seniors on fixed incomes and this whole conglomerate that's just trying to move the housing market and increase it every year. And people's salaries are not going up for seniors and some of the lower income people, and they're not having a place to live. And with the last tax benefits for the REITs, real estate investment, whatever groups, there's even more money going into it. And it's part of the housing frenzy because they're buying up houses to rent out and do the same thing. So where people before would own a house and sell it and have some money, now it's just if they'd been in an apartment, I just saw this whole thing, and it just was it really freaked me out, actually, just because I was seeing the depth of it when we went around from place to place, and it was all these big conglomerates had bought them all up, and they were putting paint on the outside, but some of them, they still had bad air conditioners and stuff, but still charging the higher prices, and trying to figure out what's going to happen to people who can't afford $1,200 a month for a 1-bedroom or more, depending on, where on the income spectrum you are. I mean, that's a lot for seniors. And we went to one that's a new senior apartment complex, and it looked very nice on the brochure and had people standing around a barbecue in the pool. Well, the barbecue area, you could fit 5 people standing up. In the pool, you could fit 5 people standing up in it. And it just gave me the strangest bad vibes. I mean, just, we didn't even go in. Either one of us were like, no, we just cruised the parking lot and left. So I want to put in affordable housing, and it doesn't matter the age, but it was coming up for seniors, but it's also for people who don't make much money, who have families, who can't afford a house, you know, whatever, or want to live in, you know, whatever. But it's affordable housing. And I just saw this whole network of greed going on that's really trying to take over and control housing just tremendously and manipulate the markets. So that's what I want to put, and that's a long story, so I apologize for that, because I'm usually pretty concise, but affordable housing and this conglomerate that's this energy behind it to make it not affordable. Thank you. Kelly.
I'll be definitely in there alongside you on that one in many ways. Interesting, I just got a notice of rent increase, so I appreciate that comment. So mine will be a tad bit long-winded, hopefully not too, but so I actually reached out to Arlie about this because I'm not a scientist, but I keep on, this term quorum sensing came to me. And I don't know anything about quorum sensing, but it has to do with bacteria. But I keep on, there's this bacteria that's talking to me. And I'm trying to understand, why is a bacteria coming to me? But there's something about bacteria that's sitting in the ethers. And the only I'm bringing it in because I'm beginning to understand more and more about how some of these concepts come in, and I'm supposed to do something with them. Like I saw the virus before the virus guard hit. I drew it out and it's all of its little spiky heads. But there's a bacteria sitting on somewhere. There's a bacteria out there. And that's why quorum sensing came in, so I can understand that there was something out there. So I want to bring whatever this is, this energy that's coming in, to negate it, to work with it, to whatever it is that I'm supposed to do with it. So that's why I'm looking for deeper clarity. But it's not leaving me alone. It's very much knocking at my door with information that I'm not quite sure how to decipher, because I'm not a scientist. And I'm like, why are you giving me these things? I'm not a scientist. I don't understand. But so I'm bringing it in to counterbalance it. There's a counterbalance to it somewhere, and I just don't know what that is. So that's what I wanted to bring into the space. Beautiful day. Arlene. Thank you.
I want to bring in a person. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at a person. And I think that's all of us. Oh, Deborah. Yeah.
One more thing I want to bring into the circle, like the heat dome last week and all these weird weather things that I'm just getting, I don't understand. And I've heard weird rumors that in Russia, they're using some seismic thing like in Siberia and putting energy into the earth and figuring out how to direct it places. And if any of this weather stuff is related to human manipulation.
I'm going to bring a couple of things into the circle. One in relationship to Kelly sharing, and maybe even yours, Deborah. I think it was in the early 2000s that a friend of mine that we were working together were directed to bacteria and microbes that had been weaponized by our government. And when we got the information that they had been weaponized, we aren't scientists, but we are energy workers. And so what we did is we went, what was the original intent of that particular bacteria or virus or microbe, we were told what its original purpose was. And then what we did is we asked for codes and processes and steps to neutralize the weaponization, kind of like the software program that has been put into the microbe or bacteria, etc., to neutralize that in order to bring it back to its wholeness. It's like doing a healing process, but not on a person, on a microbe or virus or etc. So I just put that out there. We've done that several times. And the same thing is true, I think, wherever there is manipulation happening, like whether it's weather or whether it's housing, there's manipulation in our world all over the place. And so we don't have to worry about, I don't think the question becomes, is it? But this is what it's about. This is what the weather is about. This is who the divas are of the weather. This is what they're about. And start working with them to say, what's happening to you? And how can I participate in keeping you clear and strong and aligned to similar to what we do with people. And that's what I would put in the circle as far as the information. I'm going to bring into the circle domestic violence and cohesive control in that relationship with a couple of individuals. And again, all the individuals and issues that we put into the circle, let's make them surrogates for the entire network as extensively as the change can happen through that one surrogate. Okay, anything else? Kelly, I see your hand.
The other thing I wanted to add it on this bacteria is that I'm not sensing that it's from this planet. So it's an off-planet bacteria that's coming in either through space travel. The bacteria, it's not, whether it's man-made or not, I don't know, but it's off planet. It's an off planet.
But we're off planet. All of us souls in physical bodies are off planet. And so that it doesn't matter if it's off planet, does it? It's like there is a vibration. Does it have an assigned purpose? That's what it was.
Sure.
If it doesn't have an assigned purpose, then it's not of our light. It's artificially created. So we can use the PTO to go after to remove it.
Gotcha.
You
Okay.
see? So it's just a matter, okay, how can we apply what we already know into this situation, understanding that our expertise is coming from energy and commitment to zero tolerance for outsiders and expansion, holding, clarifying, and securing the energy of home. And if we don't know enough, then that's when we say, what more do I need to know? For sure. But I think we've got some amazing things on the table. Spirit, was that you ready to make? I see Arlie for sure.
The word manipulation of so many different things has tipped me over into adding what was niggling at the edge of my mind. And that is that the ocean floor, the rocks on the ocean floor know something about all of this and are asking to be brought in. I collected yesterday. I have not done a deep dive. I have my hand on one of the rocks I collected right now. And it says that the ocean floor has memory. I don't know what, I haven't really talked to it, but something about the waters and the rocks communicating have a thing to say to us all.
Thank you, Arlie. And I want to also, affirm, I think Kelly brought in water a few weeks ago, and that has, I think, for a lot of us, have been very, very powerful input for each of us to say, what does that mean to us? So thank you for that too, Arlie. This is an amazing, it's a unique circle in that we're not here to just share our stories of sadness. We're here to say this, and now what do we do? in this, and what do we do, and what our teams, where can we most effectively play and make that kind of difference. Deborah, are you unmuted for okay. Are we ready? So what we have at least 6 individuals who have been put into the circle, and the network, whatever they represent, is networked to groups. We have put in affordable housing, that kind of taking over. Oh God. The bacteria, like ocean stones, and anything that is expansive from that. And weather. So I think we're ready. Okay, so if you want to turn off your camera, you can. I'm going to leave mine on and I'll turn mine off. And when you're finished, you're ready, you can turn on the camera. And if it goes too long, I'll call people back. So we sit in this sacred circle, having brought the declaration of souls in a female bodysuit to name that which we are calling attention to. Our deepest commitment is that good is all that exists on this planet Earth and in the worlds beyond. We are here working with teams with that same commitment. We have individual awarenesses, skills, and depths, expertise. And we are here to be with our teams in order to do what's highest and best in this moment for that overall goal. So simply look around, find that team that is there for you. If there is a team upgrade that's needed in order to deepen, ask. And if so, bring more on board for yourself. And then when you're ready, your spiritual team will know where to take you and how to get you back safely. They will travel with you in the way that's most appropriate for today. So enjoy the journey. Enjoy, and we'll see you back in just a bit.
Okay. This has to do with drilling core samples through the mantle of the earth, through the layer of water that Kelly put me in touch with just a little while ago, and that exists all around the earth and underneath it, drilling through further than that. There is something in a core sample that they are about to bring up. It hasn't been brought up yet. It's a life form that is neither bacteria nor a virus, but that defies even the description of is it alive? And I think, Deborah, I may get this wrong, but you might know, in order to be alive, you have to have movement, you have to excrete, and you have to reproduce. Are those the 3 qualities? Well, anyway, I
I'm
think,
not sure about the excrete and
well,
I'm not sure about those 3. Yeah.
okay, but
Trees
anyway,
stay in one place. They don't move. I mean, they grow, but they don't walk around.
yeah, but sap moves and it has all of these.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we won't debate that here. What I was told was it defies the current description of is it alive? So, and there's something else too down there in this core sampler, in this area where they're drilling to. It's an energy, it's not a being, but it will, when it's discovered, if humans get to know about it, it will lend itself to personification. It will be easy to say, oh, I feel the presence of X, whatever it is. And here's something. The sea rock is telling the water is telling the air, and that's the way the word is spreading. So I had to ask, why doesn't the intelligence of Gaia know about this and tell all? And the answer was that Gaia just accepts it because it's been there forever. It's part of her. It's been there, and this is kind of the next thing that's been there. No alarm, I guess. And then I saw that way back in the beginning when I first joined Crystal Broadcasting, I kept seeing all these constructs in space that were made out of crystals and pointing crystal energy and crystal caverns like Superman lives in and all that. And those have something to do with this. So that's what I saw, and that's where I went. And I'm going to pass to Sue.
Thank you, Arlie. I watched a show a while ago, how the forest communicates. Mushrooms around trees are a communication center, and they pass communication on. And that a forest in its natural state has nurseries, has a communication system, has protection. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to remember all the things we've talked about, that the elements, there's so much we don't understand. We only know what we can see and sometimes perceive and feel. And it doesn't mean we are interpreting it quite right. That there is a communication system so far beyond our understanding in nature. And whales, there's so much more there going on. And all the elements and the minerals that include water. And I can just get little bits and pieces of the magnitude of wisdom and power that is within minerals, which is water and gold and silver and crystals. I mean, there's so much in minerals. So when we were talking about affordable living, I wanted to go in and change things, interrupt the power over. I always want to go in and interrupt the power over. And the first thing that came up was free will. And so I said, then I want my free will to be honored, and I do not want to be a part of power over. And I want the choice for all of us who do not want to be anymore within the frequency of power over, because it's a very low frequency of energy, of intelligence. And it's kind of like, stay tuned for further instructions. Because what I'm learning is the more I trust source, the more clear I get that it's in the moment. I cannot send it out and have the effect that I have in the moment. And what I am intending in the moment has to be in alignment with the universal laws. So I am piecing things, gathering things, and trying to find a new understanding. But what I'm getting the most is that connection to source minute by minute. Because there's so much going on, we just don't grasp. More good than we can imagine. And we're giving a lot of power to what we call evil. And we as humans just do that. So anyway, I probably am more in a state of confusion right now than I was when I began, but that means new information will be coming in. So thank you all. And I will call on Spirit.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you so much, Sharon, for letting me be here to know about stuff like this, to be able to impact the world from my home. This is such a profound, I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much. And I don't know if you want to check it out, but I just watched this movie on Amazon Prime yesterday called The Tomorrow Wars. And it's actually about going back in the future, fixing time, because there was a war coming and so much. But back to my experience. As you set space and set the tone of what, for our guys to take over, I heard them say, all I want you to do is broadcast into the ether. And then I found myself repeatedly saying love, peace, happiness for all over and over again. It was just like that mantra over and over again. And then after I continued that mantra, another mantra popped up, war is stupid. And I just kept repeating that. And I found it interesting because when I went on for a walk a couple of days ago, war is stupid came in my head. And I believe that was a song by Boy George. So I kind of Googled it and I thought it was so funny and cute, but it was so profound and wise at the same time. So I just, in that whole experience, it was just repeating love, peace, happiness for all over and over again. And then the new cycle of war is stupid, repetitive until it was a lot of energy. Like, wow, I remember somebody that used to teach me before said spiritual work is really a lot of energy. And like, when I'm in it, I'm really giving my all of it. And I knew I wasn't going to come out until I was guided to come out, but I found myself getting tired because I believe all the me was just like transmuting everything, just wanted it to go out. And then I kind of felt that my words were about to get jumbled. So they was like, now it's time to come out. They didn't get jumbled, but I felt it because it was so intense and profound. So thank you. It was beautiful. Thank you guys all. And I call on Kelly. Thank you.
Thank you, Spirit. I was kind of bounced around a little bit to places that I wasn't expecting to go in because I was really focused on this bacteria thing. But Arlie, they did take me into the ground as well and showed me that it has to do with rocks and bacteria with rock. And then I was trying to figure it out, but they took me, there's something that happened in the Gulf of Mexico. Wasn't there an explosion, a gas explosion, right? So I don't know if the heat, so then they showed me the heat because we've just gone through this heat and that this bacteria is being activated by the heat or it's being brought back to life or there's something to do with the heat, but they also showed me the Gulf. So I don't know if it has to do with the waters and the stone or whatever took place. And I don't know what happened in the Gulf. I just briefly looked. I knew there was a gas explosion in the Gulf or something and there was a fireball in the water. That's all I saw. And the rock. So really that's all. They were showing me the rock, they were showing me the heat, saying that the bacteria has an association with high heat. that it's being brought back into activation by high heat. They showed me the water, but I didn't see it necessarily in the water, and I wasn't seeing it necessarily in the dry arid spaces where, but heat is very much part of it. And that's all I have at this point in time. Yeah, that's all I have. So I am complete. And Deborah, thank you.
So they took me back to a place in the forest. And I think it was because of looking at Sue's things that felt more like the Pacific Northwest than any place else, but it was just like a little clearing. And we were getting ready to build the first housing structure in that village. And they showed me where everybody had studied how the animals made houses and what they used. And it had all been prayed over as to, you know, what spot was perfect for me, what spot was perfect for my neighbor, etc. And it was to have the most minimal footprint you could have on the environment, you know, in the space. And so you had your own little space, and then there was like a big communal lodge. And then as time went on, they showed how the community grew and decided sometimes people wanted more view of the ocean and how they, you know, things like that worked out. But then it went into the future when the outsiders came, and it was like, you guys are going to build me this big house. And if there's some leftover materials, you can build a shack. But it was very much at the beginning, really in line with nature and how to build a sustainable place that could go back to nature, but meet our needs. And that's like, but I didn't get any answers. So I tried to bring that energy of the original community forward into how can we build new communities, but I didn't, I kind of ran out of time. And some of the comments from Arlie, I know that they've been doing the deepest drilling in the ocean they've ever done. And that came up about several weeks ago that they're doing that. And so I'm sure that they haven't looked at the cores yet. They've been bringing them up. I'm sure that they haven't looked at them yet. And they already know there's what they call an archaebacteria that's like very, very deep in the ocean in these hot vents where life shouldn't be able to live, but it is life, but it's different and it doesn't live on oxygen and it doesn't live on, I think it lives on sulfur. It's a whole different chemical system of how it survives. So there are some examples already that kind of go against our normal definition of alive or life systems. And to this group, I can put this out there. You said that whatever it is might be personified or whatever. I keep getting that there's this new UFO report coming out, and they interviewed this guy yesterday, and he just wiggle worded all around it and said, well, there'll be some hearings, and kind of said, well, yeah, maybe, you know, we're not the only ones. And just was like, oh man, what? And I just got that there's some big announcement coming out not too long, perhaps about extraterrestrials or whatever. And Jeff Bezos stepping down from his company and going up into space. And there's all these things are connected, and I keep getting this extraterrestrial energy around it. And there's something big coming together. So I don't know how all that fits and how much these are things that have just been deep in the earth for a long time and living under high pressure, high temperature that are just different forms of life versus, you know, something else. I don't know. So I'm just putting that out there. So it's sort of like Sharon said, it's about we get to take back control and create our communities. And I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet, but thank you. So Sharon.
So what I felt to ask is what is allowing expanding control, i.e. the housing, i.e. the legal discounting, i.e. the parasitic attachments, what is still in place allowing that? And what I got was a sense of stuffing, like hoarding. You've seen hoarding houses where things are stuffed, so stuffed you can hardly move around, and hidden. And it's like locking down consciousness through that type of activity. So I asked who knows what that is, and what I got was I do, and I'm not of the light, therefore I am of those who create these things, so I know what they are. And they said there are multiple plans that have been seen and used for generations and generations, that have become so normalized that everybody just accepts them, and they are used to divert, kind of keep us off track. There's that level of multiple plans. I ask where the cause of those, the beginning of those are they in the galactic worlds? They said they no longer exist in the galactic worlds, but they are anchored in the worlds of the outsiders, what I call the negative worlds, there are 5 negative regions, which I have not gone in to work on those extensively, only an individual at a time. So they said they exist in the negative regions. Their reason they can be dealt with. We just haven't focused on those negative regions. So I said, okay, what else is there? And they said, there also are multiple plans in place, and that are devices, they are systems, they are growing, and they're able to continue growing because they are also anchored and coming from the negative regions, the negative worlds. There are no longer any permissions from the galactic worlds that allow them to be here, but they do have their anchoring beginning in the negative regions. So I said, okay, then we've been going into those negative regions for specific purposes, say in the last year. I said, do we have permission to go into those negative regions? They said since November 2019, when the Galactic Council collectives, so the councils from our group, but beyond that, all groups, made the decree that domination agendas cannot be chosen. They can't even be chosen any longer. They said that issue that made it possible, like a universal search warrant availability, that you don't have to ask permission. They don't have to be, our teams do not have to be given permission, but up until 2019 it wasn't possible to be extensively working in those worlds, but now we have permission. So I said, so they said that's where we have to go in order to identify what is there. And I know some of the things that are there, I don't know all. So I said, do we have teams ready to do that? And they said, we do. I said, I was a PTO team. They said, no, they have some of the same qualifications as a PTO team, but the PTO team isn't geared for those regions. And it's more like a search, rescue, restore, and reintegrate and rebalance. It's a different kind of process. And I said, what can we call them? And they said, why don't you just use SRR, search, restore, and rescue, and restore. And so that's what we'll call the SRR. So I'll get more information about those teams and begin working with them, because I want to go after the cause, of course. So that's what I was shown. Kelly.
I'm really learning to try to slow down. Sorry, Sharon, I didn't give any space there. I'm really trying to pull back. Do we know where those core samples are being pulled from the Earth? Do we know what region?
It's the deepest part of the ocean And I want to say somewhere in the Pacific, but I'm not positive.
All right, I'm just thinking back to things that I was shown a while ago. I was taken down to where the plates meet many months ago, and it was the heat, and there was something about the heat on those plates that was supposed to be transformative, not necessarily a volcano or a plate shift, but there was something in the heat. So I'm just thinking back in time. So thank you.
The type of life form that I was thinking about, the word came to me, it's prions.
Prions?
Well, I guess that would be the correct pronunciation. I've only ever read the word.
Yeah. Got it.
Can I
Kelly.
mention one more thing?
Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
love coming in here because my mind gets a chance to go boom. Have you, Sharon, given these 5 elements or the SSR? SRR or SSR?
SRR, search, rescue, because there's a rescue envelopment, which is different than the PTO. Search, rescue, and restore. SRR.
Are they, how do I want to phrase this? Are they energies you said that you're not familiar with? Yeah. I mean, are they below ground energies? Are they, I mean, where are they coming from? Where's that coming from?
These are not, they're coming from beyond the planet.
From beyond the planet. Okay.
Yeah, because the energies I'm speaking of are not in the earth. The negative regions are not earth.
Okay.
They are really the worlds of the outsiders.
Okay. All right. I just
So
need
it's
you to be
that-
clear so I can.
You could say that that's their galactic worlds. We would call
Okay.
it negative because the region, because the vibrations are slow or negative or heavy, but but that would be their galactic regions. As we have our galactic regions, that's where they have, so they have homes there and they have things going on there that keep us trapped, just like our galactic experience have had things to keep us trapped. You know,
Okay, that helps.
and I've not ever been drawn. I mean, I have individual with individuals, but I've never been, I mean, this is like a direction to go, like, explore those worlds, get those worlds cleared up, is kind of the directive to me.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. It just tells me I wasn't crazy on Saturday when I was getting all this information. I just kept getting angrier and angrier, and I'm like, just, but it was, and came home and was seeing all this stuff, and going back into time, like from Reagan's time, with a lot of the cuts and stuff, and for infrastructure and housing and mental institutions and, all the stuff. And it's like, it's all part and parcel of the same thing.
The thing I value about this work is that we ask for information, we are shown information, but we're not stuck in the information. It's like, then what can we do? What do we bring to the table? If we don't know, show us what, and what's our piece to play, rather than just like, there's stuff out there, there's things going on out there, and everybody's like spins in the knowing, fear of, with nothing that directs them or gives them the ability to make the changes. So I really, really value.
Oh yeah, yeah. When I came home and I realized how, I just sat down and started doing my Ho'oponopono process, and I started doing deep sixing stuff from all these complexes and the companies and that we'd been through and stuff. And it's just like, okay, I can start doing this.
Yes.
But it's bigger than one complex. It's not like just one little thing. So I didn't stay stuck in it. It's just,
I know you wouldn't, but that's why I value what we are
yeah,
here.
that's why I love it. Cause it's like, man, I don't have to stay upset or just in total avoidance because I can't handle it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That feeling of having power and something that we can actually do is just so wonderful that we don't have to be stuck and in grief.
Mhm. And also not knowing is not a problem. Because we can say, what is it that we need to do? And we don't need to do it all, but what is mine? I mean, that spiritual connection, listening to source, voice to us, knowing there's a plan that we're consciously saying, yes, that's the plan I want to be part of. And then do walking the walk. It can be sometimes it feels heavy, because there's sometimes for me it's a constant. It's like, be with it, be with it, be with it. Okay, now let go. And then, but being able to be with it, let whatever energy that takes, and then the letting go. It's not like, it's almost like delight in having had the opportunity to do what I was called to do. Okay, another Monday. Marley, you're unmuted.
I wanted to say thank you to you, Sharon, for giving us the techniques so that we can be our own gurus, so that we can go after this knowledge. We don't have to come to you and say, oh, Sharon, I saw this. Oh, Sharon, fix it. Oh, Sharon, teach me how to fix it. You've given us the tools that we need to go forth on our own and make a difference. I love it.
I do too. I do too. Spirit?
I want to add on to what Arlie just said, just to second it and like amen it, because like you don't have to go back and forth with that individual that's toxic, just use the tools that you gave us and PTO it, deep six it, and love, forgiveness, and let it go and walk away from there. I see I'm frozen. There's such a delay in my camera today, but thank you.
You're doing fine. And look what happens when we all come together then and say, this is what I see and this is what I sense. I mean, this is beyond what one person can do. So, okay, my loves.
I just looked up the deepest drilling is 7,000 feet below the ocean floor, and it's off the Shimokita Peninsula of Japan.
Wow. Is that a safe place? Okay.
I would imagine it's on the Ring of Fire. I
Mhm.
would imagine it's on the Ring of Fire
I
right
would
there.
think close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
So definitely no wonder, there's that awareness, like what does that mean to each of us, whatever it is we take from the circle, like what is that will open new doors. Okay, so before we close, let's anchor and let that weaving of what is here in this circle, what we have spoken and in unspoken here, and we send it out like that glitter, like the beautiful web, in whatever way your imagination encircles the globe beyond wherever it needs to go, with our decree that it is so. And with that, our circle is closed until we meet again. Okay.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you when we see you. Bye, loves.
Bye all. Be
Yeah.
well.
Bye.
Bye.